about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free.
Well, hey everybody. How's everybody doing this evening, or morning, or night, or wherever you guys are? It's 10 p.m. here at night here in the Cincinnati area. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to be talking about the Dream Drone. Of course, we have a lot of announcements that have just come out of drones that have just been released, and we have, of course, DJI trying to get back in the game with an announcement that they're going to have an event on July 18th. So everybody thinks that, of course, that's going to be the Mavic Pro 2. Be interested to see if they have a curveball for us and throw something different at us. But if it's what everybody expects, I think we're looking at the Mavic Pro 2. So I'm curious, what you guys are looking for in the Dream Drone. If they put this out, if DJI launched this exact thing, how much would you be willing to pay for it? So one of the things I thought would be kind of cool is, hey, down under lunchtime. Glad to catch you on lunch right there. So, um, so yeah, I thought it'd be kind of cool to go through all the drones that have kind of recently been released or kind of still on the market right now, kind of some of the big names and some of them that have just been announced, and kind of talk about, take some of the features from each of them and kind of smush them together and kind of get something that, we might think is kind of realistic given the technologies that's out there. Of course, I'd love to have, a 200 gram 200 gram drone with a 1 inch sensor, and has 360 as well, and could go 80 miles an hour, and has all this stuff, right? But that's not really realistic. So I thought what we might do is try and go through and talk about some of the technology that's available today, kind of smush that together and see what we get. And I'm curious what you guys are really looking for. Hey, David Ma, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, 120 down under platinum, be up for sale soon. Yeah, that's. I think there's going to be a lot of drones coming to the market, a lot of used drones coming to the market. So I'm going to kind of start off this by talking kind of through some of the different drones that are out there, some of the different features that I think would be kind of one of my, kind of make my kind of dream drone. But I also would love to hear from you guys. So it's great to talk with you guys down in the chat, but I would love for you guys to also jump on Discord and join me and have an kind of a call-in session like you would on the radio. So, Willow, I see you in the waiting room. I'm going to talk a little bit, and then I'll get to you here in a little bit. I hope I don't lose you. Uh-oh, lost you already. Anyways, Willow, I hope you stick around so I can chat with you. And if anybody else, if you don't already have a Discord account, it's really easy to sign up and get on air. Just click that link that's down in the description, and I'd love to chat with you. All right, so what are some of the drones that are out on the market? So one of the drones that I have that I use almost every day is the DJI Mavic Air. Now, one of the things that I love about it is the form factor. The form factor on it is just awesome, right? It fits in my camera bag. It fits in just any bag. It fits anywhere. It's so small. The fact that the sticks on the RC come off, so you can pack it together. And you just throw it in, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about where you're putting it, whether it's protected. They always say, and we've talked about this before, the camera that you have with you is the best camera, right? So, it's a little hard to carry an Inspire around everywhere you go. I'd love to have the quality of an Inspire, but you just can't do that. So, hey, Drone Shots, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, so that's one of the things from the Mavic Air that I would love is that form factor. That size is fantastic. Now the Mavic Pro, of course, has a lot going for it, right? But the size of the Mavic Air, I think, is what is perfect. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the new Mavic Pro, if it is a Mavic Pro that they announce on July 18th, I would love to see it a little bit smaller than the existing Mavic Pro. But I think that they've got so Willow says, I can't hear you. Yes, you can't hear me on Discord, Willow, not until I put you into the live show. So you have to listen, unfortunately, to the. I'm still kind of a rookie at Discord. I'm still trying to get this figured out. So just listen for the live stream, and then when I put you into the live chat, I'll get to you in just a little bit. So. All right, so the Mavic Air, the size, I think that is a great size. Of course, the Spark, the body's smaller, but the with the wings not, or the arms not being foldable, I think kind of takes it into an awkward size for me. I think I still love my Spark, but the Mavic Air is the size, right? So of course, from the Mavic Pro, two features that I want from the Mavic Pro, the biggest features are the 30 minutes, and actually Mavic Pro Platinum, I think specifically, are the 30-minute flight time, roughly 30 minutes. And I'm really hoping that in the new Mavic Pro that they might be announcing, maybe we can get a real world 30 minutes, not a manufacturer claim 30 minutes, and you actually in real world get something less than that. 30 minutes of real flight time would be awesome. Let's see. And then the second thing, of course, that I think one of the big things everybody was disappointed with the Mavic Air is the Mavic Air, of course, uses Wi-Fi. I think that most people would really like to see OcuSync. So if they don't come out with, if they release a new Mavic Pro 2 and they don't have OcuSync in it, there's going to be a revolt, right? And I think specifically we're talking about OcuSync 2.0, like they released in the Phantom 4 Pro V2. So it's got the dynamic channel switching between 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz. Hey Benito, how you doing, man? Well, I just got my Air. Was debating whether to get Pro or Air, but gimbal plus size was what convinced me. Yeah, so the gimbal I think is one of the things that they definitely upgraded on the Air over the Pro. The Mavic Pro, that gimbal's just kind of hanging out there, kind of dangling. You run into anything, you just hold it wrong. That's a big time. It's 120 down under. I've got 30 minutes flight time with a Platinum. That is awesome. So 30 minutes, I think that's a sweet spot. Anything 30 minutes of real flight time and over, I think is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to something like that. Now, what else do we have? So we have the Parrot Anafi that was just released. I think one of the cool things that they have, of course, is that that gimbal that rotates up. It rotates 180 degrees, right? Straight up to straight down. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know that we'll see that with a new Mavic Pro, but that's pretty cool. And one of the things that I like about it that is because of the way that gimbal is, that I'm pretty sure you probably won't get any propellers in the no matter how fast you're flying, how hard you're flying. I don't think you're probably likely to get propellers in, and that's something that really can't be said. I don't think for any of the other DJI products. Even the Phantom 4 Pro, the Mavic Pro, the Air, the Spark. If you're flying it hard enough, you're probably going to get propellers in it at some point as well. So that's something that I think with the Anafi, the way that they've designed that and kind of stuck that gimbal out front, I think you've got a good chance of not getting propellers. And that, of course, I think is one of the concerns with the Autel Evo. We'd seen that in the prototype version that I'd done an interview with Jacob from Autel a while back, a month and a half ago, and when I got the footage from him, there was a lot of props in the video. I was hoping with the redesign that he was talking about in terms of the arms and so on, the new propellers and firmware, that wasn't going to be an issue. But watching some of the existing video like Original Dobo and a lot of the other guys who got their hands on an Autel Evo already, there is some propellers in the screen. I know that depending on how hard you're flying, but I think with the paired Anafi, you take that gimbal setup and you don't get any propellers likely. So that would be part of my dream drone, would be a camera, a gimbal that's out, so that in some sort of design, so that it doesn't have that, right? So and I'd like to hear in the chat, guys, as we're talking through, what else would you guys be interested in? And if you haven't, if you've just joined, check in the description of the video. There's a link to Discord that will allow us to be able to talk via voice. I got Willow already on, waiting for me to shut up so that I can connect with him. So Willow, I'll catch you. Just let me talk through a little bit, and then I'll start doing some calls. But I'd love to hear from some of you other guys as well. So what else? So what I would love to see from that came out on the the unique Typhoon H Plus, and of course this isn't new for the unique Typhoon H Plus. This has been around, but and it's on some of the bigger drones as well, like the Inspire and so on, are landing gear that rises up out of the way, so that you have a camera that can go 360 degrees, of course. So that's one of the things that I would love to take from the Typhoon H Plus that was just announced from Unique, is landing gear that's retractable, but that's not something that I think is likely to be seen on a Mavic Pro style folding drone. That's something that I think we're more likely to see with a future sort of Phantom. But it's kind of the best of the worlds, because then you can kind of separate the you can kind of separate the gimbal and the camera from the drone itself, and you can get that 360 action regardless of which direction the actual aircraft is headed. And yes, 120 down under, the 1-inch sensor hanging out there as well. So that's from the Phantom 4 Pro version 2, not just version 2, but the Phantom 4 Pro, that 1-inch sensor. That's something that, and I've talked about this before, when you're talking about sensors, camera sensors, that's really kind of one of the big things, is that bigger generally is better, right? So, sometimes bigger isn't always better, but generally speaking, when we're talking about cameras, bigger is generally better. And so that 1-inch sensor right now, most of the other consumer level drones have that 1/2.3 or 1/2.4 drone, or sorry, camera sensor, and maybe a new design called Campbell. That's how I talk, right? I start jumbling words together as I'm talking. So yeah, the bigger generally is better when it comes to talking about gimbals, I can't even speak anymore. See, I mentioned this, I think, in the last live stream. I don't know how some of you guys speak like multiple languages. I can't even hardly speak English, and that's the only one I supposedly know. But so anyways, so yeah, so bigger generally is better when it comes to camera sensor. It allows it to collect more light, and cameras and images are really about collecting that light, controlling that light, and gathering more information. And when you have a bigger sensor, it's able to collect more detail in that light than a smaller sensor. So that 1-inch sensor, I think, would be a very key feature to be really improve the level of the quality, and I think you see it in the Phantom 4 Pro. I think that that larger sensor allows for a higher dynamic range, so that the brights, you still can collect the data that's in those brights and still get the stuff that's in the shadows, the detail that's in the shadows. So I think it's really that combination. You really expand that dynamic range with that larger sensor. Of course, the 1-inch sensor is actually still fairly small when you compare it against a full-size sensor that you get in like a DSLR camera or something like that. A 1-inch sensor is still relatively small. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what that size is, but yeah. Thanks for understanding 120 down under. James, I appreciate that too. So let's see. So what else do we have? So now one of the dream drone. If we're talking about our absolute dream drone, one of the things that we have to talk about is, most countries have regulations that start at around 250 grams of weight, and so the Rise Tello DJI/Rise Tello, comes in at like 80 some grams. The DJI Spark, I think, is just over, or it's right at 300 grams if I remember right. So my dream drone would be just under that 250 grams for its takeoff weight, because then we can most places the regulations start not being an issue at that point. So you really don't have to worry as much about what you do, where you do, when you do it, those sorts of things that you have to with larger drones, of course. But I don't think really the technology that we're talking about, in terms of all these other things, the 1-inch sensors and all these other things, are really going to fit into that. Now, one of the things that I would also like to see comes from the Phantom 4 Pro is sensors all the way around. So the Mavic Pro has sensors just in front and underneath it. The Mavic Air and the Evo have sensors in front, underneath, and behind it. The Phantom 4 Pro, of course, has sensors all the way around it. Essentially, helps you keep yourself out of trouble. So that's something that I would love to see in my dream drone as well, and the ability to disable those. And it would be great to be able to just say, okay, I want the side sensors disabled, or I just want the rear sensor disabled, or the front sensors disabled. That way, it just gives me ultimate control. And that really leads me to kind of to the next thing is I want to have full control over the system. What it does, how it does it, how quickly it does it, all that kind of stuff. One of the things, and again, I keep saying I love my Spark, but they've kind of dumbed it down, right, in terms of the settings that are there in DJI Go 4 and what you can and can't change. The Spark, I think underneath its hardware has incredible capability, but I think that they've dumbed it down and taken away a lot of those features to kind of stratify the product line. So that you got that Spark at that entry level, you got the Mavic Air, you got the Mavic Pro, then you got the Phantom line above that. So I think it's one of the ways that they're stratifying. So for my dream drone, I'm kind of a geeky guy. I like all the bells and whistles and being able to twist and tune and do everything. So sensors working in sport mode would be awesome too. Might be a little bit much to be asking just because of how quickly it's moving, and but I agree, for a dream drone, I would love that as well. So I want to have ultimate control over everything. I want to be able to turn things on and off. I want to be able to tune them. Have a million different knobs and buttons to be able to twist and turn and be able to control. So yeah. Let's see, James, like to have me sensors working while in sport mode. Yep. Hey, Lloyd Mendenhall, grumpy vlogger. That's all right. No worries about being late. Appreciate you joining. All right, we're just talking about our dream drones here. Oh, man, we lost Willow. Come back, Willow. So if you guys haven't seen, in the description down below, there is a... oh, we do have Willow still there. Awesome. Okay, so Willow, I'll get you here in just 1 minute. So for those of you guys who've maybe joined a little bit late, or just joining, in the description down below is a link to Discord that it will allow you to be able to call in, and then we can have a voice chat. It's great talking with you guys, in the chat, in the text chat, but I'd love to have a conversation with you guys. So let's give that a try. So what else am I missing? So those are some of the kind of starter points I wanted to talk through. What else am I missing that goes into your dream drone? And I think that everybody maybe has their own kind of version of what a dream drone is, right? I may, if I'm a traveler and I'm going backpacking all the time, it's different than if I'm like doing it for a job, right? And so there's different needs for different roles. So I'm going to go ahead and Willow, I'm going to throw you into the live show. I'm hoping that once I do that, you can hear me. Hey, Willow, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Willow, how you doing?
I'm good.
What part of the world are you in?
Northern Territory, Australia.
Ah, well, welcome. Are you the one that's on your lunch break?
Sorry?
Someone in the chat had mentioned that they were on their lunch break down in Australia, so I wasn't sure if that was you or not.
No, I'm on a farm and I'm taking a break from horse training at the moment to listen in on your chat, but
oh, awesome.
I'm having trouble with this new technology. I've never used this application before, and it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to, but it works out pretty well. It seems like you got it figured out, I think.
Yeah, it's the application seems to be stopping the sound on the YouTube live stream.
Ah, okay. So it's stopping it from your YouTube. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I haven't had that, so I'm not sure what to say about that. So you said
Yeah.
you're doing some horse training.
Yeah, I bought the DJI Spark to utilize helping train the horses and follow me on the horseback riding, and I've only had it a few weeks, but it's going really well.
Ah, great. So how do you plan to implement it into your horse training? Or is it kind of for distraction or that kind of thing?
Yeah, because it's hard to train the horses to cope with sound
Yeah.
overhead, and up here in Darwin, we have a lot of defense forces up here, and we have a lot of choppers and jets
Ah,
flying
yeah.
low.
Yeah.
And I actually participate in the Anzac Day March every year with my horse.
Okay.
And my old horse is too old now,
Yeah.
and I've replaced it with the younger horse, and he gets a little bit upset about the choppers flying over low.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And of course, the drone is a perfect tool to get them used to an unusual sound flying over their head, and it's working really well. And the Spark is, I think, really good. It's loud enough to get their attention and to be able to teach them how to respond in a safe way
Awesome.
without really blowing their minds too much.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. And that's
Yeah.
what I was just saying right before I kind of put you into the live stream. I don't know if you were hearing what I was saying, but you know, the fact that everybody, you know, has a different use case. You know, one person maybe, you
Yep.
know, using it to go backpacking. You're using it to train your horses, but also to probably do some active tracking, get some cool images while you're riding and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And you know, someone
Yeah.
else might be a professional photographer or videographer doing, you know, doing something for their business, you know, actually, you know, capturing images. So that's pretty awesome. By
Yeah.
the way, if anybody
It's kind of my
sees,
business too.
yeah, if anybody
I
sees on the
break in
screen
horses.
here, if anybody sees
Sorry?
on the screen here, my son Caleb has just kind of popped in. You'll probably see him on your screen here in about 20 seconds. I think there's probably a 20-second delay between
Okay.
us talking
Right.
and the live feed. So, um, yeah, so that's very cool. That are you still there, Willow? Uh oh. Uh oh, she dropped out. All right, you still there, Willow? You still there?
Yeah, I lost you there for a moment, but you're back. Like, I've just got a blank screen here on the application.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm not.
So did you have any thoughts? We've been trying to talk a little bit about our dream drone and so on. You know, you've kind of mentioned how you're using the Spark. Do you have any thoughts about, you know, what your dream drone might be?
I think maybe the true follow me on the Spark would be, and maybe foldable arms on the Spark. That's all I require for my needs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to make the Spark a little bit more portable, because I put it in a backpack and take it horse riding with me, and so I have to and I launch it out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
If it was a little bit more portable, it would be super. Because
Yeah.
I do use it as a business, because I break in horses for my customers, and I live fairly remotely to most of them, so I send them video updates of their horse. So I'm able to, you know, get footage from the drone of their horse out trail riding safely and calmly and send it to the owner, and
Yeah, very cool.
it's great for that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's that. I don't. I'm not sure if you've seen my channel, but I have the Spark is actually what I started off with myself as well. But I also have the Mavic Air, and even though the Mavic Air, the body of it is a little bit bigger, I find that the size of the Mavic Air, because you can fold the arms in,
Yeah.
is a bit more forgiving in terms of where you can pack it and where you can store it
Yeah.
at and so on. Um, I still love my Spark. I fly it all the time, but I find that if I'm looking for something that's nice and compact, the Mavic Air, even though the body is bigger, it just is a more usable size to be able to put into my bag and be able to run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just organised just a waist belt with an actual original army pouch, and I've got a hermit shell case for the Spark,
Yeah.
and I can just slip that straight into the army waist belt pouch, and I've only just got that sorted out in the last couple of days, but that's really good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Cool. Well, I'm really glad you called in, and my wife, I mention her every once in a while. She's a professional photographer, and she does a lot of horse shows. That she's the
Oh,
event photographer at. That she goes and she'll go and spend all weekend just taking pictures of people, showing their horses and doing different events
wow.
and so on. And horses and photography are her two, passions. So she's kind of figured
Yep.
out a way to kind of bring those together. She's hoping
Yep.
at one point we'll have we'll be able to move on to kind of a larger property so we can get a few horses. She would be
Yeah.
in heaven if she's able
In-house.
to do that.
Whereabouts are you?
So I'm in Ohio in the U.S. So actually,
Oh, wow. Because
Cincinnati, Ohio
yeah,
is.
my sister is a professional horse photographer. She travels the world photographing horses, Julie Wilson.
Oh wow.
And yeah, she's world renowned in the horse industry taking photographs. So yeah, we've got a
Well,
lot in common.
yeah, very cool. I'll have to remember that. You said Julie Wilson. I'll have to check with
Yeah,
my wife
Julie
and.
Wilson Equestrian Photography.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to mention that name to my wife to see if she's familiar.
Yeah. She's good mates with George Morris, who's a famous show jump coach in America.
Oh, very cool.
She might know. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Was hoping we might get some other brave souls to join in. Right now, the only other person to want to jump in and talk live is my crazy son that's
Actually, I
here
just wanted to hear without the
right
delay.
behind us. I don't know if you can see what he's
Well,
doing.
I'm really keen to see
honestly
the new
just wanted to
features
hear
of the
without
Mavic
delay.
Pro 2.
Yeah,
Because I've been putting up drone footage of my horseback riding and whatnot on my Facebook page, and I've inspired at least 2 people that I know of that are about to make a purchase, and they're waiting on the new release.
yeah.
They've got a better budget than me.
Yeah, it's that tricky budget, right? That's always a
Yeah.
problem. And yeah, I think a lot of people are really interested in checking out to see what DJI has up their sleeves on July. And James GoFly or Golfly, I apologize. I see you in the waiting room, and I'll get to hear in a minute. But yeah, the Mavic Pro 2. I'm really interested to see what they have. I just feel like whatever they put out is going to be just another level above whatever else is out there. I think that's really kind of so far been DJI's style, is to kind of just one up everybody else that's out there.
Yeah. Yep.
You got any thoughts on what you think will be in there?
No. No, no, it's beyond my simple imagination, really. All of this stuff, it's just out of this world what's at our fingertips. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too hard to think about.
Yeah, it's really amazing, the technology. I think that a lot of people don't really understand really how hard it is for this technology to work. The amount of calculations that go on to make everything fly perfectly and do all this tracking stuff and be able to do all of
Yeah.
this stuff at a price that consumers can afford is just absolutely
Yeah, to be
mind
able to
blowing.
just walk into our local store and get that technology it's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited just for this July, but I can't even imagine what's going to be available in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
And
Willow. No, go ahead.
I think there's been a lot of fear mongering around the drone industry, and I think that's starting to dissolve a little bit, that and how many features and how easy it is for the average consumer to access all that stuff. I think people are starting to wake up to that, and they're getting more and more popular.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to
Yeah,
do
I
three
guess you
different
got
things
other
here.
people to talk to. I better let you
Yeah,
go.
well, yeah, I hope that I can get James back on. He jumped out of the. There we go. So, okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate you calling in, Willow. It's good to chat with you.
Thank you. You
Yeah,
too.
well, good luck on your training of your horses. I hope that the Spark is really making a difference for you. That's awesome.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, it's opened up a whole new world to me. I had to get a new iPhone to go with it, so I had to then start to learn how to use LumaFusion. So, and because I live out in the wilderness, I don't have power or anything. I just got a couple of car batteries and a couple of solar panels making things work, and so I don't have a computer, so it's all done on my phone. So the Spark has really opened up another avenue for me.
Yeah, that's very cool. So are you talking? You're off grid right now as you're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm on my mobile phone. I've got an aerial 6 meters up in the air trying to capture some of the mobile airwaves, and that's plugged into a portable Wi-Fi hotspot.
Wow.
And then, so I'm Wi-Fiing from that little device that's connected to the aerial up on the roof and talking to you, so via that portable Wi-Fi hotspot.
Wow, that's a lot of effort to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm only 100 kilometers out of our capital city, but there's just really no mobile service here. Yeah, and I'm not connected to the grid. There's the nearest power line is 2 or 3 kilometers away.
You know, that's
So
another thing that just makes me, the times that we live in, the you have the ability to be so connected yet so disconnected at the same time is absolutely
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, absolutely, for sure. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for joining in.
yeah,
I really appreciate you calling in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
yeah. You too. Thank you.
All right, take
Right.
care.
Bye.
All right, so James Goffley, whatever. If you can jump back into the waiting room on Discord, I will. Once you do that, I will uh, put you back into the live show, and we can have a little chat here. So look forward to chatting with you. Um, so I'm curious. Let's see, what else did I miss while I wasn't paying attention? So yeah, we're spoiled here in the U.S. They're tough down under. It's the yeah, the Vegemite makes them strong, right? Yeah, here in the U.S., a lot of places have it really easy, but I'm sure in their capital city, like she was talking about, I'm sure they have all the modern conveniences as well. But a lot of people here in the U.S. choose to live an off-grid style as well. So that's cool. So let's see. So Bradley, so you're saying the Inspire 2 with the X7 is your dream drone. Hey Jackson, how you doing, man? So for those of you guys who may have just joined, if you guys want to chat on the air, feel free to hit that Discord link that's down in the description. And even if you haven't used Discord before, it's pretty easy to be able to jump in, and will allow us to have a chat. And I'd love to hear what you guys think is your perfect drone, your dream drone, and what you would like to see when DJI comes out on July 18th. What are you looking for them? What would be kind of the perfect amalgamation of different features from everything that's out there, or maybe technology that maybe isn't out there right now. What would you guys like to see? So um, I'm really hoping that the Mavic Pro 2 does come out with that 1-inch sensor. There's rumors, of course, that there's going to be two different cameras that might come out on the new Mavic Pro. Uh, it'll be interesting to see if they actually go that route. Um, so that will be interesting to see if they do go with just one camera like they have before, or if they're going to split the Mavic Pro line and go with two cameras. That would be interesting. Hey Mark, how you doing, man? Dream drone is don't have enough experience yet. Well, Mark, I'd be interested to hear what your needs are. What are you looking to do with the drone? So if you're interested, jump on Discord. Click that link in the description, and I'd love to chat with you guys. Um, so, yep, that's the Inspire. So for those of you guys that may not know, this is Caleb. He likes to come and jump on screen. He's my chef. He loves to cook. He cooked a couple weeks ago. He cooked steaks, perfect medium rare steaks for 8 of us for kind of a get together. That was a fantastic meal, and he nailed it. So that was awesome. So let's see, Lloyd. A low end and a high end makes sense. Yeah, I think it does. I think part of the question is do you start stealing from other lines? If you go with 2 different Mavic Pros, and you have the 1/1.7 and the 1-inch sensor, or what are your price points for those? And are you starting to differentiate the line too much and so on? I think they're going to sell the heck out of whatever they make. I think with the Mavic Pro already being the highest selling drone that the DJI has ever made, I think that they're gonna kill it here. So it'll be interesting. Let's see. So Mark, have a Spark surrounded by airport and heliports, and not as mobile as I used to be. Yeah, those pesky airports and heliports. The heliports, are I think a lot of people are a little less strict about where they fly. I'm not saying it's right, but a lot of people maybe don't pay as much attention to the heliports as maybe we should. It depends on how active they are. I know in my area, if you look at the like air map and a lot of things. Yeah, so James, if you can jump into the waiting room, that will allow me to put you into the live show. I can't add you to the live show unless you're in the waiting room. I don't think. Maybe I can, but I don't know how. Anyways, you leaving, buddy?
I can teach you.
No, it's all right. Go.
I'll teach you.
You're gonna teach me how to use Discord? All right. How are you gonna teach me?
All right, back up.
Back up. Oh, so my 11-year-old here is gonna show me how to use my computer. So, yeah. So, anyways, if you look at my area, yeah. So right click him there. I don't think you can move them if they're not in one of the voice.
Hold up.
If they're not in one of the voice shows, you can't move them anyways. So, anyways, there's a million airports and everything all the way around. Well, he's already in, buddy. I don't think you can do it. Thanks for trying, though. All right, so there you are, James. I'm gonna throw you into the live room now. So, live show. James, you there?
Try again.
Hey, there you are. How's it going, James?
Doing good.
So is James is that your last name, GoFly or Goffley, or is that just part of your nickname?
It's Go Fly.
Go Fly?
That's something I thought of.
Okay, cool. I was hoping I wasn't butchering your last name or something like that. Sometimes on stuff like this, you're never sure if it's somebody's name or just a nickname that they came up with, like Kluge.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are, James. Yeah, if you can turn down YouTube in the background, I was just hearing myself back there.
Yeah, hold on a second.
All right.
Problem.
So Space Cowboy, what's the phone number? So if you look in the description down below of this video, there's a link to Discord, and that's how I can get you linked in and be able to chat with you. There is like I said, a link down there, and it's easy to get signed in. Most of the people that have called in my show, I think, are new to Discord. James, have you used Discord before, or is this your first time?
First time.
First time. So, yep. So, it wasn't too bad to get signed up and get on here, was it?
No, like quick and easy, but.
Okay, cool.
Maybe it took like 1 second.
Yeah, cool. So, what's going on? You want to talk about your dream drone?
Put some more sensors on the Mavic to make it easier to work with.
Yeah, more like object avoidance sensors. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm planning on using my DJI Mavic to do tree work and do estimates with it to inspect the trees, make sure the trees are healthy,
Yeah.
maintained. But that's that's all in all.
Yeah, that's actually great use of it. I know a lot of people use them to inspect roofs and a lot of stuff like that. I can imagine, yeah, having extra sensors when you're inspecting around trees and such would be a good thing. I can imagine you going around in a circle, trying to go to the right or to the left or something, and accidentally running into another tree.
Yeah, I've come my first time flying one time. I got a little close to a tree that I did not want to get close to.
Yeah,
But
and that's a lot of money you're throwing up in the air.
yeah,
So you don't want to drop one of those from 100 feet up and have to go buy a new one, right?
no.
Yeah. So what else besides sensors all the way around would be in your dream drone?
I really I don't I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so just something that you can get up and high enough and do you have any? So you said you have a Mavic Pro currently.
Yeah, I have a Mavic Pro currently.
Have you had any problems running into trees or crashing it so far?
I went close
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. What about? Do you have any problems when you get maybe around on the opposite side of the tree with it full of leaves and all that kind of stuff? Do you have any signal problems?
I haven't tried that yet. I haven't tried that.
Yeah, that's always. I know. I
Right
don't.
now,
I don't
my
have the
drone.
Mavic Pro, but with the Wi-Fi drones, the RF spectrum that's used 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz, it's not good at getting through trees and such. So, but I understand that OcuSync is a bit better. So MMA fan 2018. I see you in the waiting room, and I'll get to you here in just a minute. So James, what part of the? It sounds like you're here in the U.S. What part of the U.S. are you in?
State of Virginia.
Virginia. Awesome. Cool. I've only been to Virginia, I think one time on a business trip, and that was just a short trip. It was beautiful there. Place I was at was I think it was close to Virginia Beach, if I remember right.
You ain't far from knocking step.
Yeah, cool. Oh man.
I sound like it's actually nicer up here, closer.
Yeah. Sorry, we got somebody. I gotta have to. I'm gonna have to kick him out. Sorry, somebody was putting some stuff into the chat that is not appropriate.
Yeah, I can't see the chat.
Yeah, it's better that way. So
Yeah,
that was the Discord chat. Sorry about that. So yeah, so
yeah.
cool. What else you got going on? How long have you had your Mavic Pro?
Um, by coming up on a year and a half,
Okay, cool, cool. All right.
maybe a year. I don't tell, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. A year seems like a long time sometimes, doesn't it? But other times it seems super quick.
Yeah. Right now, my drone's down for right now. I gotta get it repaired and get it back in the air.
What kind of problems you having with it?
My gimbal.
Yeah, the Mavic Pro's gimbal is always one of its problems, and that's one of the things that I really hope that and I think that they've done well with the Mavic Air is that they really kind of beefed up the gimbal, made it much sturdier, and they've given it a little bit more protection. So I hope that they do kind of a similar sort of job with whatever they're coming out with. Hopefully it's the new Mavic Pro, but hopefully they really beef that up because I know a lot of people have had problems with their Mavic Pro. I think that's kind of the big downfall or the kind of weak spot, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I've seen when I first got it. And it was weak. And plus, also to get off a little top subject, I have my own RC to work with. And some things that get a little fragile.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
DJ Mavic drone was a little more fragile than I cope with.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when I first saw the Mavic Pro and that gimbal and just how fragile it really seemed. But I think that they've really done a even the DJI Spark that's come out since the Mavic Pro. I think that they beefed up how that works. Of course, it's only a 2-axis gimbal instead of the 3-axis in the Mavics. But the Mavic Air, I think they really did a good job of kind of beefing that up. So that's
Yeah.
good to see. So. Well, all right, James. I really appreciate you calling in and joining the chat. I hope you have a great evening.
Uh-huh.
All right, thanks, man.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll catch you later.
You did.
All right, so what else we got? So Mr. Z Pilot, Autel Evo will kill the Mavic 2. You really think that? I'll be interested to see how that really plays out. I think a lot of people who have Autel Evo pre-orders are kind of maybe sitting on it thinking, maybe I need to wait to see what DJI comes out with. But I think that a lot of people who have who are planning to order or have already put in their order for the Autel Evo, a lot of people, a lot of those people are really looking for the no geofences, which would be fantastic as part of our dream drone. If we want to talk about that, no geofences where somebody's telling me where I can and can't fly that may or may not actually line up with actual regulations. So the Autel Evo, of course, doesn't have the geofencing. The Parrot Anafi doesn't have that. I think really DJI is really the main one that really only has the geofencing. And I do understand why they're doing it. They're really trying to stay out in front of regulations and so on. They're kind of the giant in the industry. So, I understand why they're doing it. But, on the other hand, I know a lot of people have really been frustrated with it. They can't fly. DJI geofencing won't let them fly when they're indeed actually in a place where they really should be able to fly, and so I know that can be frustrating. Are you having fun hanging out here, buddy? Let's see. So drone shots. You'd settle for the M200 30x zoom cam and an X2 cam for not yeah. I think a lot of us would settle for that as well, but you need a truck to be able to carry it around, right? So speaking of that, speaking of those big boys, I actually have some of you guys may have actually seen this in the let me switch over and find this video. So have you guys seen this video here where someone was using a big boy, and this was in China. This was, I think, recorded about a year ago, but it's been kind of making the rounds recently, where they use this big old drone here, and I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it's one of the big DJIs. I'm not really sure, but they strapped a flamethrower through it. Did you see that, Caleb? Flamethrower on a drone, wouldn't that be awesome? You would be so dangerous.
I would kill everybody.
This kid's a pyro. He's always like, "Hey, Dad, can I go start a fire out in the backyard?" In the fire pit, of course. He hasn't burned the house down yet, have you? But yeah, so that's that kind of caught my attention with the flamethrower strapped to a drone. That's that might be part of some people's dream drone, right? Oh man, too funny. So what else we got here? Yeah, and Mark Tardo, and I hope I didn't just butcher your name. I apologize if I did. But shocked to see the number of heliports around me. Yeah, which is just crazy when you start looking at some of the the FAA map or Air Maps or Hover or any one of the apps that are out there that kind of show you where you can and can't fly and where there's heliports and where there's airstrips and air so on. It's just unbelievable. So and half of them, when I first got my drone, I started, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't fly anywhere. And then I start like looking at it, and you have like some farmer who has an airport, right, which hasn't been used in 40 years, something like that. So yeah, that's I tried when I first started flying, in my area. I've got a small airport just probably 3 miles from my house that it doesn't have a tower or anything. You know, I've done my best multiple times to try and get in touch with them and never have anybody, you know, that I can ever talk to that has any interest in me telling them that I'm flying a drone. So, you know, eventually you just kind of give up on that. But you know, that's, I know some people live in, you know, in different areas that have towered airports and, you know, have more activity. And you know, so I'm pretty lucky for where I live. I can fly from my house pretty easily, and I don't have to worry too much about it. And yeah, the drone shots. Yeah, government will make everybody have geofencing, I think is what you're saying, right? So yeah, that's. I, it'll be interesting to see what sort of how the regulations change. I think there's a lot of work going on right now in terms of people, um, in terms of the regulations that are going on. At least here in the U.S., I know other countries the rules are changing. I have a hard time keeping up with just what I can do here. So, you know, for those of you guys that might be in other parts of the world, you know, I'm not sure what you guys got going on, but I think in the U.S., I think within the next year we're going to have, you know, some changes to what's going on. So that'll be interesting to see how that changes. I think you know, the whole 336 recreational flying exemptions, something's going to change about that. I think they're going to get more specific because right now it's just, you know, it's just not clear how things work. So it'll be interesting to see how all that changes. Yep. You're leaving me? What? He's leaving me.
I'm leaving
You're
for the night.
All right, you gonna go to bed because it's past your bedtime, right?
Maybe in a little bit.
Maybe after a little bit of Fortnite.
YouTube.
No. YouTube. Oh, okay. As long as you're watching my videos, then we're good. If you're not watching my videos,
I already gave you a like.
You gave me a like. Ah, sweet. You the man. All right, love you, buddy. All right. See you in a little bit.
See ya.
All right. James, appreciate you adding me on my Facebook. Caleb, if you can turn that light off once you get up, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, so appreciate anybody. I try and put things on Facebook and Twitter. I'm a little less persistent in making updates to Instagram. I just find having to make a picture and whatever is sometimes a little harder, and I don't know, whatever. So yeah, so check out my right there. Go follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. We've got lots of different stuff going on. Let's see. Bradley Burke, yeah, I'm all for geofencing. Keep the sport safe. Yeah, I think the problem with the geofencing is just that it's really hard to get correct and get accurate, and so from what I see, it just doesn't stop people really from doing stupid stuff as much as it should. Yeah, it does stop them in certain areas, but it's so easy a lot of times just hit that button and go beyond, go past it, and a lot of people do some really crazy stuff that they really shouldn't. I was actually just helping somebody who lost their drone last week, and they were probably about 1.5 miles away from the Cincinnati airport, Cincinnati International Airport, where there's big airplanes going in and out all the time. And you know, I'm not one of the drone police, but that was one of those that I'd say maybe not the best choice of where to be flying. And they were doing a long distance flight on that one as well. So, you know, you want people just to take responsibility for themselves and to do the right thing, but it doesn't always work out that way. Let's see. So we've got a couple people in the waiting room. I'll try and take Lil Oof. I guess that's how you say their name. Throw them in the live show. Nah, maybe they didn't like to be in there. Let me try it again. Throw them in the live show. Lil Oof, you there? Oh, they didn't like that. How about Jose Zamora? I see you in the chat. If you can put yourself into the waiting room, then I can add you into the waiting or into the live show. So let me send him a quick note. Okay, I can't do, I can never do two things at once. Let's see. So, I don't know. Liloof, you there?
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
What do you think of Dirty Nigger?
Oh, jeez. Hate stuff like that. That's the problem with trying to do something fun like this, is you get all kinds of crazies doing stupid stuff. So, anyways, I apologize for that. Let's see. David Martingraf, welcome. Prefer my dream drone have a GPS module that provides 24/7 location information. Yeah, I think you're talking about in case you lose your drone, right? That you can so that you can identify where it's at if you lost it, and that's one of those things that you probably have to have an LTE connection, or some sort of a cellular connection to be able to jump in and do that. So let's see. All right, so let's see. Scott, slightly off subject, but how many experience points do you have with your Spark? That's a good question, and I'm not sure specifically. I think you're talking about when you go into DJI Go 4 and you go to your flight records. I'm not sure what I have. It's been a little while since I've looked, and I think when I look, I don't remember if it only shows. I generally only look at my combined, which has my Spark, my Mavic Air, and so on. So, anyways. So, anyways, yeah, let's see. Mr. Z Pilot. Geofencing is stupid. We won't be able to fly anywhere in 10 years with geofencing. Just watch. Yeah, I think it's going to get harder and harder to find places. So, interesting. All right, guys. So, I think that's really trying to talk about our dream drone. So Mr. Z Pilot, I'm interested what you're saying for OcuSync doesn't cut it for me. You hope Mavic 2 has SIM card for self flight control, unlimited range. That's I love the idea of it. It sounds great in theory, but my concern is that no regulations really allow that far away. So that'll be interesting to see if a company does decide to do that. Let's see, Jose Zamora, you there? Jose, are you on mute? All right, so I'll leave you in the live show, Jose. If you get your mute undone, give me a shout, and we'll try and throw you in before I end it here in just a couple minutes. So, we lost him. Okay, well, I appreciate everybody joining in. I'm curious. Leave in the comments below, what are your favorite features? What do you want to see? Let me try Jose one more time. Jose, you there?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. What part of the world are you in?
This is gonna, I'm not gonna say anything bad like the other guy.
Okay.
I would like to say that I would like a drone.
Yep.
That would tell me the location of where I am, tell me my own location, and it would have a GPS to take me to other places.
And what do you
what by that I mean that if I want to go anywhere, to a store or anything,
Yep.
it would give me a GPS coordinate of where it is.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's about it.
Okay, yeah, very cool. Well, thanks for calling in. I think I'm about to close down here. I appreciate you joining in. That's always cool to have different types of navigation and be able to go to a specific place like that would be pretty cool. So appreciate you calling in.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a great day. All right, thanks guys. So yeah, David Martin Graff, Drone Valley said he predicts Mavic Pro 2 will have SIM card expansion. That's interesting. That is a fairly bold prediction. It'll be interesting to see how well that would be received if it is implemented. I would be curious to see the reaction there, just because, you know, if you can't do it within radio distance, you're probably not in visual line of sight, which is really the kind of the rule of law in most countries around using drones. So you know, I think there are some situations where it would be fantastic. You know, it's in theory, it sounds like fun. I would love to have that, but it would make it, I think, hard to use it within the regulations. So that's one of the hard things. So, anyways, I appreciate some of you guys for calling in. I plan on doing this again next weekend. We'll see maybe if we can get a guest to join us. I will be checking on that. And if there's a specific guest that you guys would like to see me talk with on this that I could reach out to, or you know, have somebody reach out to me, I would love that. I'm all for you know, ideas of who you'd like to see. So appreciate you guys joining in. It's been fun for me. Thanks for those guys that called in, and I really apologize for the one person that you know, broke the system. I hate people like that. Anyways, so yeah, I hope you guys have a great night. Hope to see you guys soon, and get out and go fly it. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we